We are back on the video lecture for chemical thermodynamics. Up since today, we we have started thermodynamics, in which we completed with the introduction and limitation of thermodynamics. Then thermodynamic properties as intensive and extensive properties, state function and path functions. This was the section that we have studied in the previous lectures up since today. Now in present lecture we are going to continue with thermodynamic equilibrium and what is meant by thermodynamic process. In our introduction of it, we have seen there are basic terms like a system, surrounding and boundary. System is the portion where thermodynamic studies are done. So whatever thermodynamic study is done, that is done for a certain process, and these processes are classified in a various types. So in present lecture, first we would see what is mean by thermodynamic equilibrium, and next to that we will see how in general we can define a thermodynamic process. Once we are clear with what is thermodynamic equilibrium and what is a thermodynamic process, then we will continue with the types of processes. Okay. So one by one we will see the terms in it. So present we are starting with thermodynamic equilibrium. Thermodynamic equilibrium. Okay. Now what is mean by thermodynamic equilibrium? Okay. Are you getting the writing? Okay. We would set it first. Okay. Now consider we have a system which is a gaseous cylinder filled with a certain gas in it and provided with a movable piston on it. So this one is the cylinder, this is a movable piston which is placed on a gas cylinder. Okay. Certain gas is present in this container. Now this can be treated as a thermodynamic system. Okay. Now this gas which is present inside the container, this container is exerting some pressure from a lower side, which is called the pressure of a gas, P gaseous. The piston which is placed on this container has a pressure due to its weight. This is pressure exerted by piston which is in downward direction. Okay. What we are assuming, a cylindrical container with a movable piston is there filled with certain gas in it. The gas is exerting pressure on the piston from lower side of a piston in upward direction. Lower side of piston in upward direction. The piston is a material mass, it has a weight, gravity will act on that weight, and due to that gravity it is drifting downward. So that downward drift of a piston is also type of a pressure, and that is the pressure exerted by piston on the gas material. So that is called as P external. If we assume that this gas which is present inside this container encloses volume V which is equal to 10 liter. Gaseous volume inside the container is a 10 liter. We measured it. This volume of a gas present inside this container is measurable because this piston is a stationary. If this piston is in motion, it is moving constantly downward, upward or in a zigzag manner, then we can't say the gas enclosed in a container has a certain specific volume. Its volume will be a measurable term, it will be a definite volume when this piston is a stationary. Clear with it? Now this stationary piston has two pressures exerted upon it. One of a pressure moving piston upward and other pressure pushing the piston in a downward direction. Volume of gas V equals to 10 liter is a constant value because we can say these pressures exerted by piston is equal to pressure exerted by gas. P external is equal to P gaseous. If these two pressures are equal to each other, then and then this piston will remain stationary, and once the piston is stationary, then we can measure its volume. Means its volume is constant because these two pressures are equal. Now these two pressures are exerted on piston in equal magnitude and in opposite directions. So these pressures exerted on a piston are in equilibrium with each other. They are equal in a magnitude and exerted in opposite direction to each other. So when these pressures are in equilibrium, we get the constant volume. Once we would revise it. When these two pressures are equal in a magnitude and opposite in a direction, then and then this piston will remain constant, and because this piston is constant, volume of container is also constant. So V has a certain definite constant volume because two opposing pressures are equal in a magnitude. We can say volume of a gas is a constant due to equilibrium in a pressures exerted on the gas. Clear? So what is mean by thermodynamic equilibrium? That we are going to see. Okay. We can say when volume of gas is a constant, that means the thermodynamic system has a equilibrium in a pressure. Now suppose another property we measured for this gas, and that measured property is its a temperature, and this temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Now we can say temperature of a gaseous mass inside the container is a constant because amount of heat which is moving out of the container is exactly equal to quantity of heat which is moving inside the container. A metallic container, a cylindrical container, is a good conductor of heat or electricity, we can say, and it is capable of transferring heat from interior to outward and outward to interior, allows a bidirectional exchange of a heat. Temperature of a gas inside the container, temperature of the gas inside the cylindrical container is constant, and that constant temperature is because the quantity of heat which is given out is exactly equal to quantity of heat which is accepted from exterior. So when equal amount of heat is given and accepted, means there is a equal exchange of heat between system and surrounding, then temperature of interior matter will remain constant. In other ways we can say temperature of a gas is constant because amount of heat exchanged in a bidirectional way are equal to each other. Getting it? So we can say constant temperature is due to equilibrium between heat exchange. Constant volume is due to equilibrium between two opposing pressures. If we would say heat given out is taken as heat loss is equal to heat gain. Amount of heat which is lost by container is equal to amount of heat which is received by container. If these two heat contents are equal to each other, then the temperature of the matter inside the container will remain constant. So in a thermodynamic equilibrium, what basically we are observing, whenever there is a equilibrium in any two measurable properties of a system, we have a certain third property which is a constant. When equilibrium is in pressure, then we noted that volume is constant. When there is equilibrium in a heat exchange, then its result is temperature becomes a constant. So when volume is constant, temperature is a constant, there should be certain equilibrium in some physical property. And on the basis of this conclusion, thermodynamic equilibrium is theoretically defined as thermodynamic equilibrium, or simply equilibrium in a thermodynamics is a state when, theoretically we can say, equilibrium is a state of a system when all the state functions means the physical properties of system are constant. Means temperature constant, volume is constant, number of moles are constant, pressure on the gas is constant. When all the physical properties associated with any given system are constant, then we can say that particular state of a system is a thermodynamic equilibrium, or that particular system is in thermodynamic equilibrium. Got it? Okay. So as a reference we can say, if we consider 4 measurable properties assigned to certain system as a temperature, pressure, volume and number of moles, and if we assume that the system is at a particular state where its temperature is T1, pressure is P1, volume is V1 and number of moles are N1. So this is initial state. At this particular state, the magnitudes of thermodynamic properties, the magnitudes of state functions are T1, P1, V1 and N1. This state is called thermodynamic equilibrium. Let us say it's equilibrium 1. Okay. Now for this particular system, let us assume that it is a closed system, a closed container with certain moles of gas which are N1. So for a closed container, when we change temperature or pressure on it, there will be no change in the amount of gas which is present inside the container, and on that basis, if there were N1 moles in an initial state, we can say if this one is treated as a final state, at this particular state again the number of moles are N1. Number of mole inside the container are constant. Let us assume that its temperature is again a constant. Both the containers are at a room temperature condition, but the pressure on the first container is changed to value P2, and because the pressure is changed at a constant temperature and number of moles, volume of container is also changed and it is changed to V2. Okay. Now here it was in thermodynamic equilibrium where all the properties were constant, they were not changing with respect to time. With the progress, we changed the pressure on the container, and as a result of that, volume has changed. When pressure changed, obvious there is change in the volume, so volume is changed. So pressure change and volume change occur, temperature and number of moles they remain the constant. Now at this stage, when the volume is changed from V1 to V2, V2 is again a constant volume, and that constant volume is obtained because this new pressure P2, now it is in equilibrium with the P external. Getting it? When there is a change in a volume, we can say V1 was a 10 liter and now V2 is a 12 liter. Observation will be volume V2 equal to 12 liter is a constant value. Now it is not changing. It was a 10 liter, pressure is decreased by some amount which is changed to P2 value. Because pressure is reduced to P2 value, volume has increased to V2 value which is a 12 liter. We are assuming it. And now that volume is constant. So 12 liter is again a constant volume like a 10 liter it was in a previous case. So on that basis we can say at this stage again the system is in thermodynamic equilibrium because its volume is constant, but this is a new equilibrium which is equilibrium second. As in chemical bonding, we have studied the concept of Le Chatelier's principle. Le Chatelier states that whenever we change a certain physical factor for that system which is already in equilibrium, equilibrium shift to new equilibrium. So it changes, but it again reaches to a new equilibrium. So initially the system was in equilibrium. Due to pressure and volume change, now it is in a new equilibrium stage. So this one is the new equilibrium. Clear with it? Now what the point is, now when there is a new equilibrium in a thermodynamic system, we can say there is a progress in a thermodynamic property, there is a change in a thermodynamic property for pressure and volume, and this change is nothing but a process. Whenever a change occurs, that means there occurs a process. So we can say this process is expansion, because pressure, we assume pressure is decreased and volume is increased. It is expansion. Or pressure is increased and volume is decreased, then it is a compression. So whatever the change is in between equilibrium 1 and equilibrium 2. So this internal course, intermediate course between a transition of thermodynamic system from one thermodynamic equilibrium to another thermodynamic equilibrium, that is nothing but a process. And on this basis, a thermodynamic process is defined like, thermodynamic process is nothing but a transition of thermodynamic system from one equilibrium to another equilibrium. Transition of thermodynamic system from one thermodynamic equilibrium to another thermodynamic equilibrium is called a process. Are you getting it? So what we learned in present article is that what is a thermodynamic equilibrium? So it is simply a state of a system when all of its measurable properties are constant. Heat content is constant, means temperature is constant, two opposing pressures are constant, means volume is constant. Then some other factor like a closed container is there, so number of moles are constant. Many other properties, internal energy, enthalpy, content, these are constant. Entropy, this is again a constant. When all the thermodynamic measurable properties for any given system are a constant, they are not changing with respect to time, then we can say the system is in a thermodynamic equilibrium. So it is in thermodynamic equilibrium, no doubt. Now whenever we change a single factor, let us say temperature changed from T1 to T2, that change in temperature will affect some other value which may be pressure or volume. Number of moles will not change for a closed container when we change its temperature, but when we change the temperature, effect of temperature will be on a pressure or volume. If pressure is not changing, then volume will change. If volume is not changing, then pressure will change. And sometimes temperature change conduct a change on pressure as well as volume. All three properties may simultaneously change. So we can say whenever a single property change from one thermodynamic system to another magnitude and all the property changes, either one or more than one thermodynamic properties are changing for a thermodynamic system, then we can say there occurs a process. If let us say temperature is only factor which is changed, then it is a process. Or only volume changed, it is a process. Pressure changed, then it is a process. Number of moles changed by some way, that is again a process. So whenever at least a single thermodynamic property or more than one thermodynamic property simultaneously change for one thermodynamic system to another thermodynamic equilibrium, the intermediate transition is nothing but a process. This is all the history, and on that basis we define what is mean by thermodynamic process, and it is literally defined like thermodynamic process is nothing but it is a transition of a thermodynamic system from one equilibrium to another equilibrium. Changing at least one property means disturbing equilibrium. So, the equilibrium which is present or existing now, that will be disturbed and it will reach to new equilibrium. So, from equilibrium 1 it moves to equilibrium 2nd, and that intermediate course of transition is nothing but a process. Clear? So, two terms we need to learn from herein. What is mean by thermodynamic equilibrium? A state of system when all the thermodynamic properties are constant. Thermodynamic properties are commonly called the state functions. So, when all the state functions which are defining the state of that system, they are constant, means the system is in equilibrium. Clear? Next, when there is a transition from one equilibrium to another equilibrium, then it is called a process. Clear? Okay. Now, as we discussed, during a process there might be change in a temperature, there can be a change in a volume, sometimes there would be change in a number of moles, sometimes there is a change in a pressure. Okay. So, these are the factors which may change a state of a thermodynamic system to new state. Okay. Beyond this, one more thing we need to concentrate is what? When a thermodynamic system changing from one state to another state, at least one property will be there which will remain constant. It is not all about that all the properties are simultaneously changing. Many properties are there. Out of the many properties, 2-3 property changes, remaining properties remains constant. Or we can say some thermodynamic function changes, some thermodynamic functions remain constant during the process. So, on that basis, on the basis of which thermodynamic property is remaining constant in a different process, the process are classified in a various types. So, next to the process we will see what are those types of processes. Okay. So, we would entail it. Now, we would start with the types of processes. Now, there are various types of processes and they are all classified on the basis which thermodynamic function is remaining constant for a given particular process. Okay. So, the types we would enlist first and then we will move to them one by one. Okay. In a types of processes, first we will see isothermal process, then isobaric process, next to this isochoric process, then adiabatic process, this is also a type of process, then cyclic process, next irreversible process which is based on mode of progression, irreversible, and the last one is a reversible process. Okay. So, we have enlisted all 7 different types of processes: isothermal, isochoric, isobaric, adiabatic, cyclic, irreversible and reversible processes. Now, meanwhile studying the various processes, we might relate with a new thermodynamic function which is internal energy or enthalpy content. So herein we would see what are the processes and in which particular process what happens with the internal energy content, what happens to enthalpy content, what happens to work done in that process. In fact, internal energy, enthalpy and expression for a work done, these are the articles which we would see next to the type of processes after these, but prior we have a reference for them in these processes. So presently we will deal with the type of process and effect on these thermodynamic properties in those particular processes. Clear? Okay. Now we are going to start with the first type of process, which is isothermal. Now remind this one, how many different type of processes we are going to learn? In all there are 7 different types. What is the basis of various types of processes? A particular thermodynamic function remain constant in them. So the processes are classified on a various ways. Then the first type of process that we are going to start is isothermal process. Now from the name we would have a basic idea. Iso for a constant or a same and thermal for a temperature. So when we say a certain process is isothermal process, that simply means a process in which temperature of a system remains constant. Okay. The process in which temperature for the given process remains constant is called as isothermal process. Clear? Now when process is isothermal, we can say change in a temperature delta T, which is conventionally taken as T2 minus T1, this is 0. Because temperature is constant. So when the process occurs, there will be 2 destinations, initial state and final state. Temperature T1 is the temperature at initial state, T2 is a temperature at a final state. As a general process it is. So when temperature is constant, means T1 is equal to T2, means a change in temperature is 0. This we can say due to temperature constant. In a thermodynamic functions, we have one more state function to learn further, and that is internal energy. Internal energy is theoretically defined as it is the sum of all the possible types of energies which are measurable and non-measurable, all the possible types of energies which are associated with any given system is called internal energy. In a simple ways, sum of all possible types of measurable and non-measurable energies associated with the system is called internal energy content. In short, we can say कुठल्याही सिस्टीम सोबत असोसिएट असलेल्या ज्या ज्या फॉर्मच्या एनर्जीज आपण डिफाइन करू शकतो आणि ज्यांना डिफाइन पण नाही करता येत असे पण काही एनर्जीचे फॉर्म्स आहे, ह्या सगळ्या टाईपच्या एनर्जीची समेशन म्हणजे त्या सिस्टीमचा इंटरनल एनर्जी कंटेंट होतो. इंटरनल एनर्जी कंटेंटचं थर्मोडायनामिक प्रोसेसची काय इंटर रिलेशन आहे, तर हे इंटरनल एनर्जी कंटेंट हे टेम्परेचरचं फंक्शन आहे. इट इज प्युअरली बेस्ड ऑन टेम्परेचर कंटेंट. वी कॅन से सिन्स इंटरनल एनर्जी जे आपण पुढं फर्दर लर्न करू, यू किंवा कॅपिटल ई ने डिनोट करतो आपण, इज फंक्शन ऑफ टेम्परेचर if delta T is equal to 0, then internal energy change this will be also 0. जर इंटरनल एनर्जी ही प्युअरली टेम्परेचरवर डिपेंडंट असलेलं एनर्जी कंटेंट आहे आणि जर टेम्परेचरच कॉन्स्टंट राहत असेल मग त्या प्रोसेसमध्ये इंटरनल एनर्जी कंटेंट पण कॉन्स्टंटच राहतो. हे एक थर्मोडायनामिक कन्क्ल्युजन आहे जी कॉमन एक्सपिरियन्सवरती बेस्ड आहे. तर असं प्रोसेस ज्यात टेम्परेचर कॉन्स्टंट राहतं त्याला आपण आयसोथर्मल प्रोसेस असं म्हणतो. आणि जी प्रोसेस आयसोथर्मल नेचरची आहे त्यात इंटरनल एनर्जी कंटेंट कॉन्स्टंट असतो. क्लिअर. तर हे तर झालं थेरॉटिकल डेफिनेशन. आपण ह्याला समजू. वी वुड ट्राय टू गेट द मिनिंग ऑफ इट. व्हॉट एक्झॅक्टली मीन बाय आयसोथर्मल प्रोसेसेस. सपोज वी हॅव अ सॉलिड मास. A solid mass is and we are about to convert it into liquid. ह्याला आपल्याला लिक्विडमध्ये कन्वर्ट करायचं. and this transformation solid into liquid is called a fusion, which is a physical change, a state change it is. Now for converting a solid into liquid, a prime objective is what? We need to heat it. So once we start heating it, we would get a liquid mass from it. Now solid when heated, it will gradually convert into liquid. So presently solid is at 298 kelvins or 25 degree Celsius temperature. हे सध्या सॉलिडचं टेम्परेचर आहे. ह्याला आपण हीट करायला स्टार्ट करू. स्टार्ट केल्याच्या नंतर त्याचं टेम्परेचर ग्रॅज्युअली इन्क्रीज होत जाईल. इन्क्रीज होत ते कुठपर्यंत जाऊ शकतो? हळूहळू राईज होत हे ह्या मटेरियल सॉलिडच्या मेल्टिंग पॉईंटपर्यंत जातं. वन्स दिस टेम्परेचर चेंजेस और रीचेस टू मेल्टिंग पॉईंट, जेव्हा टेम्परेचर मेल्टिंग पॉईंटला रीच होतो त्या स्टेजला हा सॉलिड मेल्ट व्हायला चालू होतो. नाउ वी नीड टू कॉन्सन्ट्रेट ऑन द फॅक्ट दॅट प्रोसेस ऑफ फ्युजन डू नॉट स्टार्ट ॲट रूम टेम्परेचर. प्रोसेस ऑफ फ्युजन रूम टेम्परेचरला स्टार्ट होत आहे का? नाही आहे. आपण कॉन्स्टंटली ऑब्जेक्टला हीट करतोय. ऑन हीटिंग it is sustaining to higher temperature in a solid state up to its a melting point. इथपर्यंत टेम्परेचर राईज होईपर्यंत हा सॉलिड कंटेंट सॉलिडच आहे, तो मेल्ट नाही झालेला. द प्रोसेस ऑफ मेल्टिंग विल स्टार्ट when this solid mass will reach to melting point. Now let us assume that it was at a room temperature which is 298 means close to 300 Kelvin. And its a melting point is a 500 Kelvin. तर जर मेल्टिंग पॉइंट 500 केल्विन आहे तर ह्या मटेरियल ऑब्जेक्टला जोपर्यंत 500 केल्विन्स टेम्परेचरपर्यंत आपण घेऊन जाणार नाही तोपर्यंत तो मेल्ट होणं स्टार्टच होत नाही. 500 केल्विन्सला तो मेल्टिंग बिगिन करतो, स्टार्ट करतो आणि तिथून ते लिक्विडमध्ये कन्वर्ट होतो. आणि इथं आपल्याला जे लिक्विड भेटतं हे मोल्टन फॉर्ममध्ये असतं, हॉट असतं. आणि ह्या मोल्टन लिक्विडचं टेम्परेचर हे पुन्हा त्या मटेरियल ऑब्जेक्टच्या मेल्टिंग पॉईंट एवढंच असतं. म्हणजे जर ह्या प्रोसेससाठी टेम्परेचर चेंज विथ अ टाईम जर आपण प्लॉट करतोय, टेम्परेचर with a time, look, तर इनिशियली तर टेम्परेचर रूम टेम्परेचर एवढं आहे RT व्हॅल्यू. इथून हे टेम्परेचर कॉन्स्टंट इन्क्रीज होतं आहे. इथं आहे त्या मटेरियलचा मेल्टिंग पॉईंट आणि मेल्टिंग पॉईंटला गेल्याच्या नंतर ते कॉन्स्टंट टेम्परेचर मेंटेन करत आहे. इथून इथपर्यंत टाईम स्लॉटमध्ये टेम्परेचर त्याचं इन्क्रीज होत नाही आहे. मग काय होतं तर ह्या स्टेजला गेल्याच्या नंतर तो सॉलिड ब्रेक व्हायला चालू होतो आणि लिक्विडमध्ये कन्वर्ट होतो. तर हा जो प्लेटिव्ह स्टेज भेटतो आहे इथं आपली ॲक्च्युअल प्रोसेस ऑफ फ्युजन होतं आहे. आणि ही प्रोसेस ऑफ फ्युजन टेम्परेचर इक्वल टू मेल्टिंग पॉईंटला होतं आहे, म्हणजे कॉन्स्टंट टेम्परेचरला होतं आहे. So we can say enthalpy of a fusion or a process of a fusion is isothermal change. टेम्परेचर कॉन्स्टंट आहे म्हणजे तो चेंज काय आयसोथर्मल आहे. तसं थेरॉटिकली तो खूप इझी आहे ना. द प्रोसेस इन विच टेम्परेचर रिमेन कॉन्स्टंट दॅट इज आयसोथर्मल. बट वेअर द प्रोसेस विल बी प्रोसीड विथ अ कॉन्स्टंट टेम्परेचर दॅट वी नीड टू कॉन्सन्ट्रेट. And the point we discussed herein is whatever physical state transformation we have started, already we have started at room temperature, but the product what we obtained after a liquid form, after the process in a liquid form, temperature of this liquid form is not room temperature. ते जर रूम टेम्परेचरला आलं तर पुन्हा सॉलिड होऊन जाईल ते, मग ते सायक्लिक झालं. आपण ज्या डेस्टिनेशनला गेलो तिथून पुन्हा इनिशियलला आलो. सो वी हॅव कम्प्लिटेड वन सायकल. इट इज नॉट दॅट टाईप ऑफ प्रोसेस इन विच वी हॅव स्टार्टेड विथ रूम टेम्परेचर अँड वी हॅव द प्रोडक्ट ॲट सम अदर टेम्परेचर. सो प्रोसेस इज नॉट आयसोथर्मल. असं जर आपण विचार करतो की 25ला आपण हे स्टार्ट केलं आणि इथं आल्याच्या नंतर 200 केल्विन्सला किंवा 200 डिग्री सेल्सिअसला आपल्याला प्रोडक्ट भेटला तर टेम्परेचर तर चेंज झालं, मग ही प्रोसेस तर आयसोथर्मल नाही आहे. That's not the fact is. The process has started not at room temperature but it is started at melting point. इथं नाही स्टार्ट झालेलं ते, इथून स्टार्ट झालं आणि मेल्टिंग पॉईंटला रीच झाल्याच्या नंतर तिथून फ्युजन प्रोसेस कॉन्स्टंट टेम्परेचरवर प्रोसीड होत राहिली. म्हणून प्रोसेस ऑफ फ्युजन और प्रोसेस ऑफ फेज ट्रान्झिशन, प्रोसेस ऑफ स्टेट चेंज, that is called isothermal change. Clear with it? Okay. हे एक्झाम्पल डिस्कस करण्याचे दोन रिझन आहेत. एक तर आपण हे पाहिलं की आयसोथर्मल चेंज होतो कसा, कुठल्या केसमध्ये चेंज आयसोथर्मल असू शकतो, ओके, ज्यामध्ये टेम्परेचर कॉन्स्टंट राहतं तो आयसोथर्मल चेंज होईल. आणि हे आपण ऑब्झर्व कधी करतो आहे तर लिटरली ते आपण ऑब्झर्व करतो आहे काही प्रोसेसमध्ये, ज्यातले कन्व्हेन्शनल एक्झाम्पल आहे फेज ट्रान्झिशन. ओके. सो ॲज अ एक्झाम्पल ऑफ आयसोथर्मल वी कॅन से ऑल फेज ट्रान्झिशन processes are isothermal. फेज ट्रान्झिशनमध्ये जे वेरियस प्रोसेसेस होत आहे हे सगळे आयसोथर्मल टाईपचे प्रोसेस आहे. क्लिअर. तर आणखी एक पॉईंट आपण इथं डिस्कस करू. नेक्स्ट थिंग इज व्हॉट, फॉर आयसोथर्मल चेंज we have a conclusion, if delta T is equal to 0 then delta U is also equal to 0. इंटरनल एनर्जी चेंज पण 0 असतो जर टेम्परेचर 0 असेल तर. जेव्हा प्रोसेस फेज ट्रान्झिशन टाईपची असते त्यात आपण एक्सटर्नल सोर्समधून हीट देतो, ते मटेरियल ऑब्जेक्ट हीट रिसीव करतो आणि रिसीव केल्याच्या नंतर त्याची फिजिकल स्टेट चेंज होते. तर त्यात ओव्हरऑल चेंज काय होतो, बाहेरून काही एनर्जी त्यात ॲड होतं आणि ॲड झालेल्या एनर्जीमुळं त्याची फिजिकल स्टेट चेंज होते. ह्या पूर्ण प्रोग्रेसमध्ये त्या मटेरियल मासचं टेम्परेचर कॉन्स्टंट असतं, म्हणून आपण त्याला आयसोथर्मल चेंज असं म्हणतो. आणि त्यावरून आपण हे सजेस्ट केलं दॅट ऑल फेज ट्रान्झिशन्स आर आयसोथर्मल. ठीक. पण ह्या फेज ट्रान्झिशनसाठी आपण बाहेरून एनर्जी तर सप्लाय केलेली. एनर्जी इज अ कन्झर्व्ड, इट इज नायदर क्रिएटेड नॉर destroyed. So this provided energy to material mass that is utilized by that material mass. Whatever the change is occurred, that is irrelevant. Point is, external source has given some energy and the receiver body has received that energy. So this energy content will add to energy of that matter, and this added energy content is nothing but it's a internal energy. है ना. जर एनर्जी त्यात ॲड होत आहे तर ती कुठं ॲड होतं आहे, त्याच्या इंटरनल एनर्जीमध्येच तर ॲड होतं आहे. त्यामुळं जर प्रोसेस फेज ट्रान्झिशन असेल तर ते आयसोथर्मल तर डेफिनेटली असतं. इफ इट इज अ फेज ट्रान्झिशन आर आयसोथर्मल, हे आयसोथर्मल तर डेफिनेटली आहे, म्हणजे डेल्टा टी इक्वल टू 0 टाईपचं. बट इंटरनल एनर्जी चेंज इज नॉट इक्वल टू 0. हे जे कन्क्ल्युजन आहे ना, टेम्परेचर चेंज 0 असेल तर इंटरनल एनर्जी चेंज पण 0 असतो. कॉमनली हे कॉमन आयसोथर्मल प्रोसेसेसमध्ये ऑब्झर्व करतो आपण. कॉमन आयसोथर्मल कुठली प्रोसेस? अशी रिॲक्शन जी कॉन्स्टंट टेम्परेचरला होतो, असा एक्सपिरियन्स जो कॉमन टेम्परेचरला केला जातो. पण जर फिजिकल स्टेटमध्ये ट्रान्झिशन होत असेल तर तो चेंज आयसोथर्मल तर असतो, पण त्या केसमध्ये इंटरनल एनर्जी कंटेंट कॉन्स्टंट राहत नाही, तो चेंज होतो. त्यामुळे एक एक्सेप्शनल ऑब्झर्वेशन आपल्याला आयसोथर्मलमध्ये भेटतं, दॅट इन केस ऑफ आयसोथर्मल प्रोसेस इन जनरल टेम्परेचर चेंज इज 0, इंटरनल एनर्जी चेंज इज ऑल्सो 0. बट when process of isothermal change is a phase transition, then temperature change is 0 for it, but internal energy change is not 0. Temperature change 0 असेल पण इंटरनल एनर्जी चेंज हा नॉन झिरो असतो. क्लिअर? ओके. So this one is our first type of process. What we discussed here is isothermal. Now next to this we will move to the next process, which is a isobaric process. Now isothermal was the process in which temperature of the system was constant throughout the progress. अशी प्रोसेस ज्यामध्ये टेम्परेचर कॉन्स्टंट आहे. Likewise, the second type of process is a isobaric process. Now this is the process in which P external is constant. Okay. Definition आपण review करू. The thermodynamic process in which external pressure is constant throughout the progress. असं thermodynamic process ज्यात external pressure throughout the progress constant आहे, that is called as isobaric process. The external pressure means the pressure which is exerted by piston on the container. Okay. थर्मोडायनामिक सिस्टीम किंवा प्रोसेसेसला समजण्यासाठी आपण एक कॉमन थर्मोडायनामिक सिस्टीम कन्सिडर करू. असं थर्मोडायनामिक सिस्टीम जे गॅस मटेरियलला एनक्लोज करतं एक सिलेंड्रिकल कंटेनरमध्ये, ज्यावरती एक मूवेबल पिस्टन एक्झर्ट केलेला आहे आणि त्या प्लेस केलेला आहे, आणि ह्या प्लेस केलेल्या पिस्टननी जे डाऊनवर्ड साईडला प्रेशर एक्झर्ट केलेलं आहे त्याला आपण पी एक्सटर्नल असं म्हणतो आहे. इथे इंटेरियरला गॅस भरलेला आहे, क्लोज्ड कंटेनर विथ सम गॅस इन इट. ही आपली थर्मोडायनामिक सिस्टीम आहे. सगळ्या प्रोसेसेससाठी आपण हेच अजून करू की अशीच सिस्टीम आहे. जेव्हा पी एक्सटर्नल कॉन्स्टंट आहे आपण असं स्टेट करतो, त्याचा मीनिंग असतो की हे जे पिस्टन आहे ह्यावरती आपण एक्सटर्नल बाहेरून काही वेट ठेवू शकतो, ज्यामुळे त्याचं प्रेशर वाढेल, किंवा त्यावर काही वेट ठेवलेलं असेल तर ते रिमूव्ह करू शकतो, ज्यामुळे त्याचं प्रेशर कमी होईल. म्हणजे हा जो पिस्टन आपण गॅसियस कंटेनरवरती प्लेस केलेला आहे त्याचं प्रेशर चेंज करता येतं, पॉसिबल आहे. पण जर आपण त्याचं प्रेशर चेंज करत नाही आहे, म्हणजे जेवढं वेट त्यावरती ठेवून दिलेलं आहे ते कॉन्स्टंटच मेंटेन केलेलं आहे, त्याला कमी पण केलेलं नाही किंवा वाढवलेलं पण नाही, त्या केसमध्ये आपण असं म्हणू शकतो की पी एक्सटर्नल हे कॉन्स्टंट आहे. बाहेरून एक्झर्ट होणारं प्रेशर कॉन्स्टंट आहे. गॅसने एक्झर्ट केलेलं प्रेशर कमी जास्त होऊ शकतो, पण बाहेरून एक्झर्ट केलेलं प्रेशर हे कॉन्स्टंटच आहे. मग हे कॉन्स्टंट प्रेशर पी एक्सटर्नल जर थ्रूआउट प्रोसेस इंटॅक्ट असेल, थ्रूआउट प्रोसेस जर ते इंटॅक्ट राहत असेल तर त्या प्रोसेसला आपण आयसोबारिक प्रोसेस असं म्हणू शकतो. क्लिअर विथ इट? आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल हे कंटेनर जे प्रेझेंट आहे, ह्या कंटेनरमध्ये जो इंटेरियरला गॅस भरलेला आहे ह्याला आपण कॉन्स्टंटली हीट करतो आहे. आपण असं अझूम करू इट इज हीटेड बाय युझिंग बर्नर. तर हिटिंगमुळं गॅस जो अपवर्ड डायरेक्शनला प्रेशर एक्झर्ट करतो ह्या प्रेशरचं मॅग्निट्यूड वाढेल. हिटिंगमुळं पार्टिकल्सची कायनेटिक एनर्जी वाढेल. कायनेटिक एनर्जी वाढल्यामुळं ते कंटेनरच्या लोअर साईडला जास्तीचं प्रेशर एक्झर्ट करेल आणि त्याचा इफेक्ट काय होईल, प्रेशर ऑफ गॅस इन्क्रीज होईल. P gaseous increased. Gas. Now what we were assuming is this is the container provided with a movable piston and the gas which is present inside the container is heated by using a burner. So this burner is increasing the temperature of a gas. That increase in temperature increases kinetic energy of the molecule, mobility of the molecule, and that increased mobility increases the pressure of a gas. As a effect of this increased pressure, volume of gas will increase. So P increases implies V increases, and this P rises due to rise in temperature. Now these three properties are interrelated. Increase of temperature increases pressure and pressure increases volume of a gas. In this expansion of a gas, volume of gas increased means there is an expansion. In this expansion of a gas, temperature is changed, pressure is changed, volume is changed. So can we say this process is isobaric? Because for being isobaric, our criteria is its external pressure should be constant. In rough, the pressure should be constant, then it is isobaric. Here the pressure has changed, but this pressure is not external pressure. It is the pressure exerted by matter on the piston from its lower side. P external is the pressure which is exerted by piston material due to mass of that piston. The gravity which is exerted upon that piston is exerted by earth's surface, and this gravity tend that piston to move downward, and that downward pull exerted by earth's surface on that particular mass of a piston is called as a P external, and this P external has no effect of change in a temperature. आपण हे कंटेनरचं गॅसमध्ये कंटेनरमध्ये जो गॅस प्रेझेंट आहे ह्याचं टेम्परेचर किती राईज करतोय किंवा फॉल करतोय, ह्या राईज ऑर फॉल ऑफ टेम्परेचरचा किंवा राईज ऑफ फॉल ऑफ प्रेशरचा P एक्सटर्नल वरती काही इफेक्ट होत नाही. P एक्सटर्नल हे एक प्रेशर आहे जे पिस्टननी त्याच्या वेटमुळे एक्झर्ट केलं आहे. जोपर्यंत त्याचं वेट कॉन्स्टंट आहे तोपर्यंत हे एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर कॉन्स्टंट आहे. त्यामुळं ही जी प्रोसेस आहे ज्यामध्ये व्हॉल्यूम चेंज प्रेशर चेंजमुळं दिसतोय, प्रॅक्टिकली त्यात बाहेरून एक्झर्ट होणारं प्रेशर कॉन्स्टंट आहे. And because of that we can say this expansion or compression, whatever it is conducted, that is a isobaric change. So remember, in isobaric change for a gaseous system with two pressures exerting upon it, the pressure exerted by gaseous mass that changes, but P external is constant, and because P external is constant, the process is called as isobaric process. So simply it is the process in which P external is constant. प्रोसेस होण्यासाठी प्रेशर ऑफ गॅस चेंज तर व्हावंच लागेल. व्हॉल्यूम बदलायचं असेल तर प्रेशर बदलणारच आहे. टेम्परेचर कमी जास्त केलं तर डेफिनेटली प्रेशर बदलणारच आहे. पण ते जे प्रेशर आहे ते गॅसचं प्रेशर आहे, त्याला आपण इंटरनल प्रेशर पण म्हणू शकतो. आयसोबारिक प्रोसेससाठी इंटरनल प्रेशरचं कॉन्स्टंट असणं गरजेचं नाही आहे, तो चेंज अलाउड आहे. एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर कॉन्स्टंट असायला पाहिजे. म्हणजे P एक्सटर्नल जर कॉन्स्टंट झालं तरच प्रोसेस आयसोबारिक होईल. ओके, सो P एक्सटर्नल इज कॉन्स्टंट. तर आणखी एक थर्मोडायनामिक फंक्शन आपण पुढं स्टडी करू, विच इज अ पाथ फंक्शन, अँड दॅट इज वर्क डन. वर्क डन is theoretically given as P external into delta V, which can be written as with a minus sign, it is minus of P external into V2 minus V1. This is expression for work done in a thermodynamic process. When the process is an isobaric process, the work done is always taken as minus of P external into delta V. Okay. Is there any other equation for work done? Yes. We have different equations for work done in a different thermodynamic process. So, this is related to isobaric change. Whenever the process is isobaric, work done in that process will be taken as minus of P external into delta V. So, conventional, this is a isobaric one. Now, next thing is, when we move to example of isobaric process, we can say all reactions in open vessel are isobaric. Reaction or all changes, we can say, which are conducted in an open vessel is a isobaric one. Now, how they are isobaric? Now, let us consider we have a beaker filled with water and it is heated and evaporation of water is conducted in. So, water vapors are constantly produced. So, these are vapors. Now, look, for this process, surrounding is an aerial atmosphere. Whatever aerial atmosphere is present around it, that is its a surrounding. And in this surrounding, the pressure of air is taken as P external, and this value is a 1 atmosphere, which is common atmospheric pressure. So, we can say for a physical or a chemical change which is conducted in an open vessel, exterior pressure is a constant, and that constant magnitude of exterior pressure is a 1 atmosphere. Interior has a different magnitudes of pressure. Water before boiling has no pressure exerted by its vapor because no vapors are there. But when boiling will proceed, vapor will be gradually produced, and this produced vapor will start to exert the pressure. During this process of vaporization, we may notice that pressure exerted by vapors of water are even greater than 1 atmosphere also. They are sometimes greater than 1 atmosphere even. So, during the progress, there is a constant change in a pressure exerted by vapor. We can say this is P gaseous, like gaseous pressure in a closed container, and this pressure is an internal pressure. There is change in a magnitude of internal pressure. This pressure is a constantly changing, but exterior 1 atmosphere pressure is always constant. That is a constant value. For a room temperature pressure condition, we simply assume room temperature is a 25 degrees Celsius and common pressure is a 1 atmosphere. So, this change is conducted against the pressure which is exerted by surrounding, and this pressure is a constant. Now, because this pressure is constant, the process inside this container becomes a isobaric, and on this basis we conclude this entire class of reactions or chemical changes or physical changes conducted in open vessel. They are always a isobaric processes. Clear? Okay. Now, next to this we have a third type of process, which is isochoric process. In isobaric process, we concluded that the process in which pressure is a constant, P external is a constant, is called isobaric. All the changes in an open vessel are considered to be isobaric, and work done in an isobaric type of process is a P delta V type of a work done. This much we have seen in the isobaric section. Then the third type of process we would deal with is a isochoric process. Now what is isochoric process? Simply the process in which volume remain constant. Volume is constant means a change in a volume is equal to 0. Now what type of a process it is when the volume is constant? A simple convention is homogeneous gas phase reaction. When our reaction is a homogeneous and gas phase, means all the reactant and products are in a gaseous state, then we can't conduct that reaction in an open vessel. We need a closed vessel for it, which is a leak proof. And in this vessel, whatever the mass is present, that will occupy the volume which is equal to volume of that container. Now container is a rigid body, a perfect framework it is, and its volume is constant, leak proof material it is. So when volume of container is constant, obviously volume of gases inside that container is also constant, and that will be the case when the homogeneous and gas phase reactions are. So whenever we conduct a homogeneous and gas phase reaction, ultimately that will be conducted in a closed leak proof vessel, and for that particular change volume will always remain constant. Now when the volume is constant, we can say work done is a 0, W, because this work done conventionally taken as minus of P delta V, and for this expression delta V we have 0 in a isochoric change, so work done will be 0. So one of a basic conclusion we have, the process in which a volume remains constant is called isochoric process. Now when the process is isochoric, then it should be conducted in a closed vessel commonly, where volume always remain constant, and when the volume is constant, work done in that process will be 0. Clear? Now suppose a homogeneous gas phase reaction is conducted in a closed vessel. So let us assume that the reaction is A plus B converted to product C, and it is conducted in a closed vessel for which V is a constant, and because volume is constant, work done is 0 and the change is isochoric change. If we assume that this particular reaction is exothermic, exothermic means it will release some heat during product formation, and that heat is given out as a minus Q value. Okay. The process is conducted in a closed vessel. That doesn't mean that the vessel is an insulated material. It could be a good conducting vessel, and good conducting vessel is capable of accepting heat from the surrounding or losing the heat to the surrounding. Both changes are possible. So inside the container, if the change is exothermic, then heat will be lost, or if we assume that this same reaction is endothermic, then some heat from external source should be given to the container. This is representing heat gain. This might be the case again. Both the possibilities are there. Means during isochoric change, heat can be given to the system or heat may liberate out of the system. We can say heat is a form of energy. During isochoric change, energy can be supplied to the system or it can be lost from system to surrounding also. If there is a change in a energy, then there will be change in internal energy. That means whenever the work done is a 0, then internal energy change will be non-zero. वर्क डन एक्सटेरियरवरून आपण पाहतोय, एक्सटर्नल ऑब्झर्वेशन जर आपण करतोय तर आत आपल्याला काही वर्क झालेलं दिसणार नाही, कारण व्हॉल्यूमच चेंज होत नाही. पण रिॲक्टंट प्रोडक्टमध्ये चेंज जर होत असेल तर काहीतरी एनर्जी चेंज होतो आहे, आणि दे एनर्जी चेंज इज देअर दॅट इज ऑलवेज असोसिएटेड विथ सम काइंड ऑफ वर्क. काहीतरी चेंज होतोय ना, दॅट फॉर्म ऑफ चेंज इज नथिंग बट अ वर्क डन इन अ सिम्पल मॅनर. सो वॉट एवर द वर्क इज डन, that conventionally we took as a 0. So from where that energy has received, ही energy आली कुठून? It is conventionally from internal energy content. ती energy internal energy content मधून आलेली. मग ते लॉस करत असेल तर इंटरनल कंटेंटमधून एनर्जी बाहेर पडेल, आणि जर गेन करत असेल तर ती एनर्जी इंटरनल कंटेंटमध्ये ॲड होईल. वर्क होत नाही आहे, मॅग्निट्यूड ऑफ वर्क डन इज 0, but internal energy content is constantly changing, and that change in internal energy content is conventionally non-zero. Okay, so this is all about the third type of process we started with, isochoric process, in which volume remain constant. Because volume is constant, work done is 0, but when work done is 0, internal energy change is non-zero. What are the examples of this type of processes? All the homogeneous gas phase reactions which are conducted in a closed vessels. Okay, so in present we will stop here, and remaining we will continue in the next lecture. Thank you.